Hello, Casual Dresser here, and on today's episode we are going to be delving into the world of resellers, what it takes to be a reseller, the pitfalls of being a reseller, and a step-by-step guide to see if you yourself could be a reseller. Now, before I jump into the world of reselling and resellers, I'd like to give a huge shout out to everybody who follows me on my Instagram. It's Casual Dresser, so it's the same title as my YouTube videos. I passed 2,000 followers the other day, which was absolutely fantastic to see. So please, if you like the videos, head across there and subscribe to me on Instagram also. Now, those of you who do follow me on Instagram will see that I regularly post items up for sale or just show off some of my recent pickups. So I've got a couple here to show you. One of my recent pickups was the Nike collab with Stone Arms. You'll see it here in the yellow colorway. It's absolutely banging. I'm going to do a video on that in the future, and once I've done a video, I'm going to sell it on, and the only place I'll sell it on is through my Instagram. So you need to get across there if you want to have a chance of buying that jacket. I've also put up a picture of a Marina reflective jacket, a Hyperlight jacket. Recently sold that on Instagram. Again, a beautiful jacket that I got my hands on. Too many jackets in my wardrobe, so that one had to go. And some of you will remember that I recently talked about buying Nike and not wearing Adidas. In a swap deal for one of my jackets, I accepted a pair of the Adidas Cordoba trainers. They're a beautiful colourway, UK size 11, and blown away by them, the detail, the pamphlet and map that comes with them. Obviously Adidas have put a lot of time and effort into this pair of trainers, the City Series, so I was blown away with them. UK 11 is not my size, so if you're interested in grabbing a pair brand new with tags, please head over to my Instagram and send me a message there. For all other messages, please make sure you send me an email to the email address here. Like and subscribe, and I'm going to get into my video now. So the video is all about resellers, how people get into the reselling market, if it's worthwhile doing. I'm going to share some resellers with you as well, so you can head over to their page and show them love. I'm all about independent sellers here, so gone are Flannels and Mike Ashley, and at the forefront are the independent resellers. I've got to give a huge shout out here to Common Youth. Beautiful items they sent me. So I've got this hoodie here in a pink colourway. I love pink. Pink is on trend. So I've got this pink hoodie by Common Youth, and you can see it in the pictures here. Fits fantastically, feels really good. Kangaroo pocket at the front, drawstrings on the neck. Love the little Common Youth logo. They also sent me a t-shirt. So a huge thank you to Jamie from Common Youth. They're based in Glasgow, independent sellers. So please, as always, head over to these guys' pages and buy some gear from them. If you've got anything you want to send me and I give you a quick review on here, please do get in contact. But like I say, let's support these independent brands. Let's get on to the resellers. Point one, let's go. Okay, so we see it more and more. People are trying to resell items. We see it all the time in the Nike industry. But let's talk more specifically about the casual culture and clothing, okay? So the number one question you need to ask yourself before you think you're going to become a reseller is, have I got an interest in it? Either have I got an interest in buying and selling clothes, or have I got an interest in a particular brand? If the answer is no, then you may as well stop right now. Reselling, having spoke to a lot of the people who own the bigger businesses out there, is hard work. It takes a lot of time and effort. So number one, the doorstep, if you have got an interest, and it interests you to buy and sell items, wipe your feet and enter the reselling market. If not, turn around, walk back down the garden path. That's number one. So the next point is, over the top of just being interested about something, it's do you know about something? So If you're going to sell a certain brand or certain brands in your shop, you need to know enough about them. Let's take, for example, Stone Island. You all know that I like my Stone Island and I know enough about it to answer questions that would come in. I need to know enough about Stone Island in order to be able to sell Stone Island. So let me give you an example. If you're in the trainer game, you have got StockX there to legit check items for you, to give you price checks on items. So there's a market there, there's a price check to say, look, this is how much an item's worth, this is how much it's selling at. So if you can buy something for under that price, you are no doubt going to make a profit. You can flip it to StockX, for example. If you're buying clothing, and specifically second-hand casual clothing, Stone Island, CP Company, Belstaff, Paul & Shark, the list carries on. You don't have that luxury of having a StockX to compare prices to. So you need to be able to tell if the item is fake. That's the first thing. There's no point in getting stung for hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a fake jacket. So you need to be able to tell if the item's fake or not. That's the first thing. Second thing, you need to be able to find the market value. And I'm going to give you a quick guide now how you might find a rough market value for that item. Okay, so market value. So let's say we've found a coat. So we've gone looking for a coat and we found something. We think that's a good value for the coat. So the first thing that you could potentially do is, and I've talked about this on previous videos, is to get the art number, so not the Certi logo, okay, get the art number. It's normally written in tiny numbers underneath the EAC. Get the art number and type it into Google. Let's have a look at what the jacket's actually called and what the sales were when it was new. So RRP, for example, might be £699. Now, don't be fooled by some of the sales. So for example, if you put that art number into Google and it brings up that it did go in the sale at $299, the chances are it never actually went into the sale. These companies lure you in by saying jacket $299, come and look on our website. Oh, it happens to be sold out. It was never there in the first place. It's just a clickbait to get you in. So normally, let's say a jacket sold for $699 and they sell out, then all of a sudden, if they've got no more stock, they'll say, actually, it's $299. Come up on our website. Oh, it's not there, but actually, can we interest you in this? So have a look at the retail prices. They're going to give you a good indication as to what your second-hand prices could be. Now, if we then know the model name of the jacket or the jumper, then we can bang that specifically into Google and have a look on the second-hand sites and see if we can find any past prices. Okay. Once we start finding past prices on things like eBay, Grailed, once we see those second-hand prices, we can start to calculate whether buying ours is going to be a chance to make money or whether we're buying it around the actual second-hand price. If it's around the second-hand price now, unless you really know your jacket's inside out and you know what's going to make money in the long run, then it's a no-go from the beginning. Now, one of the pitfalls or one of the things that I see resellers doing wrong from the off is that they're excited to get started, they start the shop, they get some items in, and the first thing they do is keep banging them on forums saying, how much is this worth? Price check on this, price check on this, price check on this. I'm sorry, but if you do that as a reseller, it gives me absolutely no confidence in any of the items you're buying. If I'm buying from you, I'm trying to buy your expertise. I'm trying to buy that. I know you're going to make money on the items. That's why you've got the shop. But I would expect your expertise to be able to look at an item, find how much it costs, find out if it's legit, not ask everybody else. So if I was a customer, I wouldn't be going to shops who are consistently asking for price checks on items. That's your job. You are the shop. We're paying you to do that. The same with just little independent traders who are on Facebook and Insta. Stop asking for price checks. Do it yourself, and then the customers can buy an item, and if they're happy with the price, they'll pay it. And if they're not, they won't buy it. So there's a big point for you. Know your brand, know the price points, do the homework yourself. Okay, I hope you're still watching. It's almost like a tick list. Don't be put off if you've got a cross next to any of those points I've already said. Just work at it. The main thing I'm going to say throughout this video that underpins it all is just start small and build. So you've gone through that, you've got an interest in it. You've got a relatively good understanding of the brand itself or the brands you're going to sell. You know how to find how much an item is selling for and how much you should be buying it for. You're not saturating the market out there by saying, help me, help me, help me. So where are you going to buy your items from? So we've got two options. Are we going to go for, or three options really? Are we going to go and buy new? If we buy new, you're going to have to go to some form of seller who is going to bulk sell you new items. In order to do that, in order to get a supplier, you're going to have a lot of money up front. So the numbers that I hear floating around are you're going to have at least £20,000 to start up a company if you are going to a independent seller who's going to supply you with the items. Okay. Now we talked previously that if that's Stone Island, you're going to have to probably be cutting the Certi logos out. So that's going to reduce the prices you're going to be able to sell them on for. So think really carefully about that. We've then got bulk buyers who have got suppliers at the moment bringing stuff over from Italy. I see it boxes and boxes and boxes of second-hand stuff. Lads send me pictures again saying, how much do you think this is worth? How much do you think this is worth? To the point where it just gets so tedious. So we've got new suppliers, we've got second-hand suppliers who are shipping loads of stuff in from Europe. And then we've got just what the general reseller would do. So are we just going to go and visit the pages ourselves and buy something and sell it on? So some of the pages we might talk about, eBay, obviously they were one of the first out there. So we could look through eBay and see if we can find any bargains. You could look at Grailed. Now I know Grailed is a top price for items, but sometimes it's a top price for a top item that actually is a little bit underpriced. So you've got Grailed there. You've got Marketplace on Facebook. You've got Gumtree. Depop is controversial. It is full of idiots, full of absolute idiots. I've seen so many people on Depop getting scammed. It's far too easy. And in future, I'm going to do a video about PayPal goods and service and why I would never let anybody buy anything off me, PayPal goods and services. But that's for a future video. But Depop is just full of fake stuff and idiots. So I'd probably avoid Depop. And then there's Instagram, and Instagram is probably transforming at the moment. It's probably not what it used to be. It used to be just about publicising people, businesses. There's a lot more shops on there and some fantastic shops, and I'm going to show you some of them further on in this video. But get yourself across to Instagram as well. Loads of people selling stuff. A way in which you could possibly find some stuff on Instagram, for example, is hashtag Stone Island for sale, hashtag Stone Island Shadow, hashtag CP Company. Just see what people have got, and even if they're wearing it, just send them a message, say, are you selling this? Would you be prepared to sell it for a certain price? And they may do. But who is going to provide you with your gear? So you've got new, you've got second-hand bulk suppliers who are still going to need a lot of money up front, or you put the legwork in and go and look for second-hand items yourself. You choose. Now, a really simple question to answer, and something that is overlooked a lot, is where are you going to store all these items? So I see people, if they're still staying with mum and dad, filling a whole room full of jackets, jumpers, trainers, etc., etc. Where are you going to put them? It's hard enough looking after your own stuff and fitting it into a wardrobe. So where are you going to put all this surplus stock? Are you just going to bang it in boxes and then sell it straight from a box, which is obviously going to be crumpled, creased, etc., etc. So really, really think, are you going to get a storage container to put it in? If you've got a shop, happy days, but that's something we'll talk about later on in this video. But where are you going to store all this stuff that you're selling? Okay, so you're still here. I'm glad you're still here. You're still making your way through. So you're at the point now really where you need to think of a brand name, a shop name and a logo. Now when I use my casual dresser for my Instagram, YouTube, I use this thing called Taylor Brands. And it's quite simple to use. You literally just put your name of your company and a little hashtag if you want to. So mine's Casual Dresser, best reseller around. This isn't real, obviously, but it's a physical goods, enter industry, clothing. Again, I haven't got a clothing shop, but why not give it a go? And then we're going to hit next. And then I'm going to put my brand around my name, and I'm going to choose some fonts. 1, 2, let's go for this thin one here, excellent. And then it's as simple as that. We're now going to let it create our logo. Once you've got your logo, you can pay to export it, get all the vectors and JPEG, etc. sent to you. And then just cancel your membership and you've got your logo. So here is our logo, potential logos. So I'm going to go for, yeah, that one looks quite nice. And once I press love it, then I'm on the next stage where I can start to save my JPEGs and get them all emailed out to me. And forever then they're saved, these logos, to use whenever you want. So that's a nice little one, Taylor Brand Studio. But there's loads out there to use, but I just use the Taylor Brand Studio. Now I once had a previous little business, it was called Casually Organised. It did suit bags. It was really hard to get off the ground. The concept was really, really nice. The logo was nice, but it was hard to get off the ground. Someone bought that from me. But if you've made a logo and you're really happy with it and you're thinking, I don't want anyone else to take that, which they quite possibly could, don't be afraid to go on the government website and try and get a trademark for your logo and name. It's not difficult to do. You just send your JPEG in there and you tick what you intend to use it for. And then if there's nothing out there that is similar, you'll get granted your trademark pretty quickly. If there's something out there that it has a bit of conflict with, it'll ask more questions and you might ask them as a business questions. But if you want to protect it, if it's something you really, really care about and you want to use in the future, don't be afraid to head to the government website and have a look at trademarking. It's always important to make sure that if you've spent some time building your company, that no one else can come in and steal it. Okay, so we've got our logo. You'll be excited to get going. How much money are you going to put into buying your first lot of stock? Now, I've watched videos about this. I've watched videos about people recommending using credit cards, and I can understand why. The finance behind it makes sense. So you effectively go and get a 0% credit card. Let's say it's a £5,000 limit, and you go out and buy your clothes with that. Okay, and once you start selling them, you start paying off the 0%. And then once you've got that money in a pot, so let's say you've gone from 5,000 to 7,000, you reinvest that 7,000 again, and the 7,000 maybe turns into 10,000. You reinvest that money again. It sounds simple. Now, credit cards, no percent, are less risk, but I'm not going to say they're no risk. And I've got to be very careful about what I say regarding credit cards and people, because people can be influenced very easily by things like this. And I don't think if you're just starting out, you should be going out and getting a credit card and taking that risk. I think if you can't afford to get the money together, just put together what you can afford to get. So if you can only afford to go and get 2 jackets or 2 jumpers and resell those, then start from there. Okay, there's no risk. You won't be worrying at night. There's no point, especially if this is just a side hobby, there's no point sitting there worried that you're not selling items and how we're going to pay off a bill. So I would say just invest the amount of money that you can. Ask your parents maybe if they'll give you a loan. Show them what you're prepared to do and what your logo, and you've done your research and this is what I want to get. Ask your parents. They're always there to help. But take it small. So the next point is, where are you going to advertise your clothes? So we can start really simple and we can just make a free Instagram post. So I've got an account, Instagram, and I'm going to put a few jackets up there and see if they sell. Nice and easy. And I am more than happy once you've got some vouchers from people and show me some sales. If you just find me an email, I'm more than happy to drop your Instagrams on my page. That's what this casual dresser is all about. So please do find me your accounts. So we can start on Instagram. We could just start a marketplace on Facebook and just sell items under your personal name. Lots of guys don't want to do that though, because they'd rather have that small little business starting. So maybe Instagram, that's the next step. Or we can start looking at a website. And here are some of the websites now. Okay, so websites, right. So we're going to start small. So the smallest we've said is possibly Instagram or Facebook or just on eBay, selling some items on eBay. People say, I'm going to start a website. Well, The only way you'd really start a website is if you've got traffic going through it. It's very hard to start a website and have traffic going through it straight away. So my personal response would be start by yourself on these little platforms, and once you've got a high enough traffic rate running through it and people asking questions and you're generating people looking at your Instagram, then you might say, look, actually, to make this easier for me now, because one of the pitfalls of Instagram is you sell something, they send you a message, you say you're going to ship it in a few days, and in a few days you've had 20 more emails about different items, then it's sat at the bottom and you don't really know who's who, and you have to look through them all to try and find where the sale was. So unless you've got like a book, and not many people have books and pens now, let's be honest, a website is going to keep everything together, all your orders together, where it's going to, etc, etc. So here are some of the main websites out there at the moment. So number one was Wix, number two was Shopify. Now I asked a question on some of the pages the other day, which one would you recommend? Most people said Shopify, and actually it's people's choice here. So Shopify would be a good one, a Squarespace. When I started my little business up before, it was on Big Cartel and they were absolutely fine. They're all going to come with different features as well, so the more you pay, the more you get. But for what you need probably at the start, you're only selling so many items, you'll probably get away with most of these. Once you hit a certain revenue and you're selling lots of stock, you're going to have to start thinking about which website to use. But Shopify seems to be the one that most people are using at the moment. So head over to Shopify if you want to make a website. Make sure as well that you are getting a domain name, so you're not just using one of these e-commerce websites names that are generated for you. If I'm Casual Dresser, I want to be going to one of these websites and looking for www.casualdresser.co.uk or casualdresser.com. I want all of those websites. So do that first, okay? Get your domain name. It's quite easy, step-by-step guides how to change the website name to your domain name. So it looks a lot more professional and then people can find it a lot easier. But these are the websites that we'd recommend. Go across there and have a look. So what are you going to sell? And that doesn't mean what brands or what type of items are you going to sell. What are you going to sell? So when I talk to some of the sellers and they say, I'm finding it hard to get these items moved, I think you'd be able to move it for me. I look at the websites and they sell the same thing. It's just the same thing over and over again. If I see something pop up, I'm like, I know who's selling that. One of the things I like about, when I mentioned Matt's Island before, one of the things I like about that is the different items. They don't have to be rare, but it's an eclectic mix of items. Montclair, Stone Island, Prada, etc, etc, and different sorts of jackets. Some are priced high, some are priced low. So in a way, there's something there for everyone. You need to see where you're going to fit into it. It's a saturated market. There are loads of people out there. What is going to be your unique selling point? What's going to get people back to yours all the time? I see people selling, say, for example, I'm dropping this item, £1,500. £1,500 sounds a lot. To the mass, a lot of people would not buy it, but for some it's just like a catch. It's like, right, I'm going to keep an eye on that company, because if I'm looking for something big, there's a chance they might have it. So think about how you can do it. How you can do drops at certain times. Are you going to say, right, items drop on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Friday night, or are you just going to sporadically put them on your website or on your Insta? One of the benefits of just dropping them occasionally is that people always have to be checking back to see if an item's dropped. If you do it on a Sunday, you might get no footfall, no traffic going through Monday to Saturday, and then a Sunday, bang, everybody goes onto your website. It's up to you how you do it, but you have to think really carefully about that. Don't just buy generic goods, and certainly do not buy items and try and sell them, like I mentioned on a previous video, for the same price or near to the same price as RRP. There's no point a customer like me coming to somebody who's selling for the same price as Stone Island. I'm going to Stone Island. Now, this next point didn't come from me. It came from a Nike reseller video that I was watching about a guy who's grown his business. It went from a small square yardage to a huge footprint, selling Nike trainers and clothing. And he said one of the mistakes that most people make when they're reselling is that they take the money out of their business too quick. So let me give you an example. I invest £3,000 and I buy some clothes and I sell them, and at the end of it all, I'm on £3,400. If you're too quick to take your initial investment out because you don't want to lose it, you're left with only a small amount of money to turn it over. It's exponential. The money is exponential in terms of, if I take 3,000, invest it and turn it to 5,000, I made £2,000 profit. If I then put the 5,000 in, I'd expect to make more than 2,000 profit, so I might make 3,000 profit. We're on 8,000. Then I'd expect to make more than 3,000 profit, so I might make 5,000 profit, which takes me to 13,000. Can you tell I'm a maths teacher? So it is exponential. The more money you're putting in, the more money you're going to get out. So don't be quick. Don't do it too soon. Don't pull the money out of your business. Keep it in there. If you borrowed it off your parents, you might say to them, look, I'm going to give you it back in a year's time. Let me have it for a year or 2 years. I'm not going anywhere. I'm living in your bedroom still. But don't be too quick to pull money out of your company. Now, I use the word company because that is what you're aiming to be. You're aiming to be a company/business. And at some point, you're going to have to register your company. Just like I said about your logo, you're going to have to register your company name, because not only do you have to be registered with Company House, but you're also going to have to pay taxes. When you're making past a certain threshold, you're going to have to be paying taxes on the money you've made. So please do that. If you ever watch Dragon's Den, it's the first thing they always say, make sure you pay the tax, man. So if you are starting a legitimate business buying and selling clothing, please make sure you do that. So when do you know if it's the right time to expand, get bigger? So I imagine a lot of these resellers, a lot of the people who are watching now will have a stable job and they'll think, I might do a bit of resale on the side. Perfect. But we know there are people now who have got huge businesses based around what you're probably starting at now. If you've got a stable job and you're reselling, and this reselling starts getting bigger, something will have to give at some point. Now, if you've got an accountability, if you have a family, a mortgage, a car payments, credit card payments, etc., etc., it's very hard to leave something that's secure, a job that's secure, that you know what you're doing, to go across to reselling where there's a risk and reward. But at some point you will want to do that risk and reward. It's something probably you love. That's probably why you're watching this video now. So you've got to weigh up the pros and cons. You've probably gone from doing Facebook, Instagram, what I suggested to start off with, to a website. The website's got very popular. Are we going to move into a physical store? Now, if you were to rent a shop on a high street, it's probably, to the normal person like you or I, too big a step. But I've had a look around at some of these markets, some of these fantastic markets that are just hosting independent sellers. And they do units for dirt cheap prices with shutters. They're locked up at night. They've got electrics in them. And they're crying out for people to fill them. And because our market, the casual market, is quite a niche market, if people know about it, they'll come. Okay, you're not going to get passing footfall who think, oh, I want to buy a so-and-so jacket, a Canada Goose jacket. But you are going to get people who support you and say, actually, I'm going to make a trip out there. Actually, the stuff was brilliant, the price was brilliant, I'm going to talk to other people. All of a sudden, it starts to spiral. So if you've got to this point, fantastic. If you're thinking, should you go for it, weigh up the pros and cons. But if you think you can do it, take the leap, because I know so many people who have said it's the best thing they have ever done. Okay, so we're near the end of reselling and how we should possibly do it. If you've got here, well done. It's quite a long video today. It's going to take time, it's going to take effort to do a good job. The thread that runs through all my videos is making connections. You've got to make the right connections. Because with the right connections, you may be put in contact with suppliers. You may have people that put your name out there for you, so you don't have to do it all yourself. You may get invited to some of the mass markets where people get together, lots of different resellers selling the same sort of gear. But they're also going to be there behind closed doors to answer some of those questions that I said publicly you shouldn't be firing out there. You've got to look professional through the whole thing. Too many businesses, to me, fall short straight away by not looking professional. Some people reach out and ask the right questions, but some people just think they know it all. They put the prices up there and it's doomed from the beginning. So if you have got here, I wish you lots of luck. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, here are some of the resellers that when I put up on Insta, do you want some free advertisement, have sent me their stuff in. A couple of extras I've added for people who I know are trustworthy sellers. But just sit back. If you like any of this stuff that you see, any of these names, just jot down their Instagram or website details. Please head across to them and support the independent industry, because it's getting bigger and bigger. People are no longer prepared to just throw the money away on new items. I actually had a discussion with somebody recently who said, you're wrong, you don't understand why people buy new clothing. I've bought new clothing before, and it feels absolutely no different to buying second-hand clothing. Actually, it feels worse, because when I put something on that's brand new, I'm too scared to do anything in it. And I know that I've wasted a hell of a lot of money. I love my clothing, but I'm not going to be ripped off on it. So support the independent people out there. Sit back now, write down any of these names. Here come some of the resellers. Okay, so we've reached the end of the video. As always, a huge thank you for supporting me. Well done for sitting through what is a long video. I hope you can pick up some tips if you want to be a reseller. Please, as I mentioned, head across to my Instagram. I've got loads of giveaways over there. Literally just giving some away. I gave away some lookbooks, some CP Company magazines recently. I also gave away these two beautiful pictures from Stone Isle, completely free. So head across there and subscribe to me. I also sell some of my jackets across there. Again, as always, get in contact with me at the email address below if you'd like me to feature anything on my next video. Look after yourself. England versus Ukraine tonight. I'm going for England 4, as long as Harry Kane's not playing. England 4, Ukraine 0. It's coming home.